Welcome. This is our Algebra 1 study guide. So go ahead and you can check your answers with me and figure out how to do some of this stuff. So write a word phrase for each algebraic expression. I see 2 is right next to parenthesis. That implies multiplication. So we can write 2 times. Now the only problem here is I have to do x plus 6 first. I can't write x plus 6. I have to write it in a way where I denote that that would happen before. And the way to do that is to write the sum of. So there's 2 times the sum of x and 6. So we have to use the sum, the product, the quotient, the difference if I want to do something to happen before, like a grouping. Same thing over here, 10 over x. I want to do that first. I can do the quotient. Quotient, I'm pretty sure I spelled that wrong, of 10 and x. And then we can do minus 9. Another way we might write this is by putting 9 less than the quotient of 10 and x. And if you see 9 less than, then we could go ahead and do it that way too. All right, here, I almost spelled it right. I put the I in the wrong place. Here, okay. The sum of 8 and the quotient of a number and 25. So I'm adding 8 plus the quotient of a number and 25. So it's going to look like that. And here's an example again of that less than. We're going to go ahead and flip it. You see a then, we're going to put it in reverse order. So I'm going to put the number first, subtraction, and then 64. Okay? All right, so we're going to go ahead and identify this. So we have the square root of 400. First, we're going to say there are any two numbers that multiply each other to give me 400. And if you kind of think about this for a little while, you can actually get 20 times 20. So this is actually just 20. So 20 is rational. It's an integer. It's a whole number, and it's a natural number. Okay. Next, we have the negative square root of 11. Now, square root of 11, there's no perfect square, so that's just going to be irrational. It's going to go on forever with no rhyme or reason. Here's a decimal that stops, so it is rational. We can make sense of it. It is not an integer. An integer would be like 1, 2, 3, and also negative with 0. So those two wouldn't work. The number 0, natural would be counting numbers, but we can't use 0 in counting numbers, but it would be a whole number, an integer, and rational. Okay. Okay, list number from least to greatest. So we're going to take basically the numbers up here and go from least to greatest. So negative 11 is going to be the smallest. Then we're going to get negative 0.75. And then we're going to get 0. And then we're going to get the square root of 400. Okay. All right. Next, we're going to simplify. They're both negative. If you guys don't know how to do this, draw a number line. And right here, we're going to put negative 12. So I started at negative 12, and I'm adding another negative 5, so I have to go back 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Notice I'm getting further into the negatives. Negative means you go to the left, and positive would go to the right, so this becomes negative 17. So just use a number line. Again, you can use a number line here. Starting at negative 7, you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 0, and then we still have to go 11 more to get to 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Went too far. We get 11. Quick announcement.
Makeup ID pictures are happening in the Triton Center right now. Also at break and lunch. Makeup ID pictures are happening in the Triton Center right now.
So go get your makeup photos. All right. Here are some flags. We got negative 2 minus 11. So again, we could draw the number line, but I know if it's negative 2, I'm going to keep getting more negative. So another thing we like to say is same sign sum, keep the sign. So we have two negatives, so two negatives, we're going to sum them, so we are going to keep the sign of the negative, and we're going to negative 13. Okay, different sign, we take the difference, so I'm going to subtract these two, and if we do that, we're going to get 27. So if you need to, line them up and go ahead and subtract them. Here, two negatives next to each other makes it positive, and we are going to get different signs now. We have a negative 14 and a positive 19, so they're 5 units apart. This one's bigger, so it's going to be a positive 5. And here we're going to go ahead and get negative 3 times negative 3. So the exponent tells me how many times to multiply my base, so I multiply it twice. That's going to give me a positive 9. Down here, same thing, but this time I'm doing it 3 times. So those two are going to make a positive 16, but then I'm going to multiply it by a negative 4, which will give me a negative 64 as my final answer. Again, I went two negatives made a positive, but then I multiplied by another negative. Okay? In the property illustrated in this equation, we have x, z, y, and so they're the same order. So these have the same order, but notice the grouping's different. Z's hanging out with y, and over here z's hanging out with x. So that is different grouping, so it's associative property. Down here we have xy, the yx. The property here is that the order is changing. So this is commutative property. This right here, x times 1 equals x. Notice x stayed the same. So when the identity of the variable or number stays the same, we call it the identity property. Oops. And last but not least, on this page at least, is an order of operations. So we want to go ahead and start with the parentheses. Again, we go ahead and write out the PEMDAS. So parentheses first, that's 7 squared minus 42 divided by 6 minus 20. So parentheses are good. Exponent, so that's going to be 49 minus 42 divided by 6 minus 20. Notice I just take it one step at a time. Look for multiplication and division, which I see right here. And we're going to do this. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And then all we have left is addition and subtraction. We go left to right. So 49 minus 7 is going to be 42. Minus 20 is going to be 22. Okay? All right. I would ask if you had any questions, but you can't ask questions in a video because there's no one to talk to. Okay. Moving forward. Another order of operations. I see two negatives. I'm going to make those positive. Everything's positive and negative, so I'm just going to move left to right. So 82 plus 4 is 86, plus 110. So that's going to be 196 minus 15. It's going to be 181. Again, follow our order of operations of PEMDAS. I like to check them off. So parentheses first, 2 plus 6. Done. Exponent, 6 squared, that's going to be 7 minus 36. And 2 to the 4th, that's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. Okay, so we do 2 to the 4th power is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Then we're going to do 7 minus 36. That's going to be a negative 29. Two negatives make a positive, and then we're going to add those two together, so we're going to get 45. Okay, all right, next problem.
Hey guys, so we're going to do this problem right here. So first of all, we got to distribute this negative, so we get, oh yeah, we got to do parentheses first, just kidding. And so you get, inside the parentheses, you get negative 5. So write that all out, just because we keep everything organized. Then we distribute this negative. That makes that negative into a positive. positive 5. Here we go. What? There's a plus sign in between there, so yeah. So we're gonna do exponents next, because you know PEMDAS. We got 25 plus 10 divided by 5 plus 5. Then we gotta like make sure everything. Oh, we gotta do division next. Just kidding. It's been a while since I've done algebra, guys. Here we go. We got 10 divided by 5, which is 2, plus 5. Okay, now we add everything up. You gotta go left to right. That is what I remember. You got 27 plus 5, which is 32. There you go.
Okay, that was a star. It's scary that she's in pre-calculus and that took her a little while. So anyways, back to doing this next problem. We're using distributive property and we're going to distribute this in. Now what we have to do here is we have a fraction, so 3 and 4, so I'm going to divide by 4 first and then multiply the number by 3. So just to show you, I'm just going to go ahead and divide it by 4. So 16 divided by 4 is actually 4, and then I'm going to multiply it by 3, which gives me 12. X. Two negatives are going to make a positive. Okay? Next, we're going to do it with 4. 4 divided by 4 is going to become 1. 3 times 1 is going to be 3y. Now it's going to become not positive, I apologize, but it's going to become negative. And then last but not least, we're going to have 12. 4 divided by 12 is 3. 3 times 3 is going to be 9, and this is going to be a positive 9. Okay? And nothing else combines, so we're done right there. Okay? Again, over here, we're going to have to distribute the negative, so it's going to change this to a negative 10x squared, positive 5x, and a negative 14. And then we're going to combine like terms. Okay, and if you need to use highlighters and stuff like that to help you, you should. But I'm going to go ahead and use some colors. So there's my x squareds. Here's my x's. Notice I'm including the sign with it. It will let me know how to actually solve it. So they're both negative, so same sign sum. Negative 11x squared. Same sign sum. 16x. And we're just left with a negative 14. Okay. And here we go. Again, we're distributing the negative. Negative 5y plus 7x minus 10 plus 15 minus 13x plus 9y and 10x. And we're going to go ahead and get those like terms all circled. 10x, 7x, negative 13x. And then we got 9y, negative 5y. And then we got these guys right here in the middle. Okay? So we got 10 plus 7 is 17, minus 13 is 4x. And then we're going to do plus 4y. And then this is going to be plus 5. Okay? Alright guys, I'm going to pause here and do a second part of the video.